Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando. Thank you guys so much for coming out to this video. Again, we're continuing our roster review series. These guys that we roster reviewed 3 months ago, and we've been giving them like month by month kind of guidance. And so we're gonna be on our second installment, right? So our first one was the guy that was 1 million or below GP. He had still been there. He was pretty low when we first got him. This one was our one in between 1 to 2 million GP. Pogue Life has made it there, past 2 million GP now, but when we first started, he was sub 2 million. So we're gonna take a quick look, and I've kind of got some stuff pulled up over here to the side. I got the old video pulled up so that way I can kind of see what it all looked like. So some of the stuff like your arena and your fleet arena doesn't look like it changed too much. You look like you added relics to Anakin, which I agree with. Like in this team, this would be the first guy that I relic. So definitely good on that. The next guy that I would probably relic is Kenobi once he gets his seventh star. Looks like you got a star on that, so congrats on that. And maybe Padme. The reason why these two is because no disrespect to Ahsoka or any of those other guys, but like these two are pretty pivotal in getting gas. So just a little bit probably a ways out for you. But just kind of in your future, like hey, just so you're aware, like these two will definitely be him by far. I think the most. I think relic 3 to 5 is probably reasonable for him, and then like once you get a ship, most people take him up to 7. But yeah, like uh, Padme too is pretty nice to have at relic as well. But you can do it without her at relic. And then your ships, it looks like the only thing that really changed was that you got Anakin um up to 7 stars, which is awesome. Your ranks are a little bit lower actually than last time, but I just can attribute that to like maybe you were climbing or other people have upgraded their roster. I think that with a relic Anakin, you can probably punch up more. Hopefully you can get sub 100 so you get those extra tickets or tickets, extra crystals. And looks like you gained about 50,000 in a little over 50,000 actually in lifetime banners. So that's pretty good, man. Good to see. Okay, so let's get into the actual roster itself. Because last time I gave you some recommendations, right? I already see this right here in the top. You got your Han shoots first, right? That Zeta is just so good. Like I just think that it stops so much. Like it stops people from having that first turn. And when you stun them, it's just like, okay, great. Like it's just really nice. So I really like that Zeta. Okay, so I don't remember if this was the case last time, but I'm just gonna be brutally honest here. You're sitting at 2.1 million GP, and you have a Relic 7 GBA. It I'm not saying it's a terrible decision. There are plenty of reasons why you would do this, right? One of them would be to get a watch shard, right? Like that's the easiest way to get a watch shard, in my opinion, is to have a Relic 7 GBA. Um, However, again at your GP, and a lot of people say like in the early game, right? Like Geos, they're invincible, right, or whatever. But just for everyone else out there, I'm hugely like R7s need to be really held tightly in reserve unless you're pushing a bigger account. Because one matchmaking in GAC, right? It's going to push you up into such a higher bracket because if people like you could have I can't tell you the exact GP, but like you could have like 3 or 4 different R3s for the same like you could relic three like 3 or 4 of your geos, right? Which would actually probably be more beneficial because they all health sharing, and that add more speed to them and stuff like that. So I always just say like, hey, be really cognizant, right? And especially this case, like when people start saying like, oh, I'm just gonna upgrade my geos, right? You become a really one trick pony type thing. Because let's just say like your Vader, like in your matchmaking GP, this guy with just as merciless Zeta and at R7 would probably pull roughly the same matchmaking GP as a GBA R7, right? And this guy would just destroy that team. Right? So there is R7s and then there's your quality R7s, and that's what we always try to figure out, right? Like uh, ideally we would love to have every character R7, but realistically we have to be, we have to think about like, hey, what's the long-term effect of this on your account, especially for matchmaking for you being at 2.1 million GP. So that's just my little spiel on that. I get it. I'm not saying that like it's the wrong move. I just am, just for everyone else out there, like don't just go rushing R7 everyone. It's actually highly inefficient to do so, especially at your guys' GP. So you know, pick and choose. Like these are great relic levels for your account, right? Like R3, great. One, the resources to get there aren't that high, and two, it's a meaningful difference. R7 is a meaningful difference, but the resources to get there is super high, and also it's inefficient when it comes to GP, if that's something that you're worried about. If it's not something you're worried about, then R7 away. So, okay. And last time we talked to, right? So we said like, okay, you've got your Padme figured out, which we always kind of refer to them as the four horsemen. Drevin, Jedi Knight Revan, Padme, and Gas. Right? Those are like the four. I would say like teams that like I would love to have as quickly as possible because they can just do so much. And if you can maintain a steady GP increase, then you are probably going to outpace a lot of people because they don't have those guys, right? Those are meta defining or however you want to call it characters. So last time you didn't have anybody. So I am really pleasantly surprised. And I know you've been farming them, but I told you like, hey, like I really would like to see one of those four guys every 1 million GP that you increase, right? And that's pretty doable. Um, one of the guys, right? Drevin, JKR, uh Gas, and Padme. One of those guys every 1 million that you increase. It's very, very doable. And the whole reason why I say every 1 million is because you also need to focus on uh, foundational teams like Bounty Hunters and other teams like that. Teams that will score you good in raids too. Like those are all important things, right? Night Sisters, for as much crap as I give them, they're a great team to score you great points in the raid if you can figure it out. And so I'm really, really happy that you went with Jedi Knight Revan. He's a great raid character. He's a great just overall character. And it seems like, you've got a flexible roster now whenever it comes to just having beyond your Padme, your arena team essentially. You've got something else to kind of punch through other Padmes, you got something to punch through or place on defense or however you decide to kind of play that. So kudos on that. So again, you've already got your bounty hunters figured out. You know, I told you, to get this done, and then I said like basically unlock Chewbacca. I think you've done that as well. So yeah, kudos on that. Pretty soon, like it looks like you'll, probably a few more gear levels on some of the other guys, and you'll probably be able to, cruise through that event as well. So that'd be nice for you to have as well. Um, but yeah, like I think, I mean, obviously focus a little bit more on your foundational teams, right? Like it's okay now to kind of you made it past the 2 million. You have your two teams, so it's okay for you to kind of follow through on some other teams, right? Vader, or EP Vader, or if you want to go CLS route, that's fine too. Continue rounding out your bounty hunter so you can get a Chewbacca. All that's fine. Eventually we want to work into maybe some Ewok actions. That way we get C3PO. another tremendous character, especially with your Padme or CLS. The other thing though that I want to see as you kind of round out, if you decide to go the CLS roster or of the CLS way, get this guy up. Like just do it. Just give him the level 85, throw about 5 or 6 gear levels on him, and especially once you get C3PO, this guy, like even not without C3PO, like this guy's amazing. I tell people this all the time. You guys cannot, please, if there's one thing that you guys take from this, take this. This guy at like tier 5 or 6 is better than, because of how much of his stats that he shares, he's better than like this guy with his Zeta, with his number crunch data, right? He's better than him at like any gear level, right? So just take that into account. It's it's an amazing character. Even like you might not feel like, oh, like people's common misconception is, oh, I don't want to gear him up and like I don't have enough resources to do it. Like you don't need any. Like if as long as you can get him to level 85 and as long as you can give him some gear levels, he's going to do his unique is going to do the rest. And it's going to make, it's not just him, it's going to make all these other guys stronger. So highly recommend that. So but yeah, in the future, you've got, like I said, a good base. Got your, some solid foundational teams, and it's just really going to be take into some consideration, like, hey, what stops me on GAC, right? If they've got a strong Geo team, right? Can my Padme punch through it? Can my Vader punch through it? What if they put their Padme on there? So a lot of this now is starting to get into kind of the gameism and figuring out what does your enemy place and what can you place. But overall, very good roster, man. Look forward to hearing you get Kyber again on your alt. Always fun to get yourself on the Kyber board in the Discord. So yeah, guys, thanks for stopping by. Like I said in all videos, if you guys see anything that I didn't, for sure let him know. If you guys have any recommendations for him, again, let him know so that way he can continue to improve his roster. And thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.